and welcome to my channel. My name is Kim, also known as the Booker Harlot, and thank you for spending your time with me. So I thought for this video I would do a reading vlog style. It is March 20th, 2023, so book prizes are upon us. So Canada Reads Debates. Hi honey, this is Ripley. I don't know how long this is going to last, but this is my puppy dog. So Canada Reads Debates are next week. The International Booker Prize for Fiction has been announced. There's 13 books in total, and I think I can get a hold of about 6 of them. So for a Canadian who follows a lot of UK book prizes, this is probably the most amount of international Booker books I have been able to obtain. So I'm really excited about that. I also follow the Women's Prize for Fiction. It has a very long list, so there's 16 books for that. So while I'm waiting for the Booker Prize to come in, I thought I would start with the Women's Prize for Fiction. So the first one I have is Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes, and I have to say that it's the most gorgeous cover. There's also an endorsement on the back from Neil Gaiman and Margaret Atwood, two of my favorite authors as well. To be honest, I do not know that much about Greek mythology, and I have never really been interested in the sort of new genre of retelling the classics. I didn't read Thousand Ships, but I thought if I am going to read about a character from Greek mythology, Medusa is probably going to be the best pick. And it did make it onto the long list. I trust the judges, so we'll see how we make out with this one. After that, I'm going to tackle the Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. Now, Maggie O'Farrell is one of my favorite authors. Last year, or the year before, I can't quite remember, everything's running into each other. She wrote Hamnet, and my formal education is in Shakespeare. So if you're going to do anything with Shakespeare, it better be brilliant. And this absolutely was. I love this book. I will reread this book. I think she's a fabulous author. I ordered this edition especially from the UK because it has a beautiful cover. So I was, at the end of last year, so excited to get this book. Got it, started it, DNF'd it. Just couldn't get into it for whatever reasons, but I'm going to give it another go because I trust the Women's Prize judges. The next book I'm going to do is Homesick by Jennifer Croft. I'm going to do it by audiobook during my work commute. The interesting thing about Homesick is that in the UK it is listed as fiction, but over in North America it is listed as a memoir and nonfiction. So I don't know quite where that's going to go, but we're going to find out. Interesting tie-in with Jennifer Croft to the International Booker is that she is a translator, and she won this in 2018 with Olga. I'm not going to pronounce her last name because it will not be good. Anyways, that's what we're going to do, so let's get reading. So I just finished Natalie Haynes' Stone Blind. Hi, honey. And I think I missed out on grasping this book because I don't have a good knowledge of Greek mythology. I think that there were 2 brilliantly written scenes, and this is spoiler free. The one is at the beginning of the book. The opening scene where Zeus rapes, who is it? Métis, which is odd to say that I love this scene, but it's exquisitely written and I keep in my mind going back to it. The other one is when Perseus encounters Medusa, brilliantly written. But on the other aspect of it, I thought that there were a couple of scenes that really escaped me, and maybe it's because I don't have the knowledge behind it. And that was when Perseus is encountering the Greys with the tooth and the eye. It just felt really clumsy to me. I didn't understand why the characters were making those decisions, and it almost bordered on being absurd. I just didn't understand it. I couldn't wrap my mind around why the characters were making these choices. I thought that Medusa was incredibly well written. I think she was an amazing character that I fell in love with and felt tortured by her torture. I thought that her relationship with her sisters was really well done. I think that to be a Greek god is to be a very selfish, violent creature. The most interesting passage to me, and one that I thought really summed up the book for me, was on page 292, and she writes, "Medusa is dead, I am dead, but I'm still the best narrator for this part of the story, because I was there for all of it, and because I am not a lying, deceitful, hateful, vicious murderer." I think that that really summed up this book for me. It's interesting that only a couple of pages after Medusa is killed that she does turn into a vicious murderer. But because could you not pick the book? Because I was so invested in her character and I understood why she turned into a monster, I was all there for it. I wanted her to kill everybody in the book, because everybody in the book, other than Medusa and her sisters, are horrible and they all deserve to die. Anyways, I thought it was, to sum it all up, it was a good book. I thought it could have been a great book if I had done the research, but I don't think you necessarily have to do research in order to enjoy a book. I'm glad I read it. I'm not going to be returning to Greek mythology retellings anytime soon unless they're listed for a prize. But if Natalie Haynes were to write a book outside of that genre, I would definitely go to it. So that's the first of the Women's Prize, and on to The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. My glamorous life.